Hello, this is Maria.
And this is Joe.
Well, first of all, thanks so much for listening because you're here. So thanks for trying to listen to Room 13.
If you listened to us at the beginning of season 3, you may have realised that some of our recordings are a little bit dodgy.
Yes, unfortunately, our Wi-Fi was not our best friend. In fact, some would argue it was our enemy. And we were getting constantly cut off. So we tried to salvage what we could.
This recording starts about 30 minutes into our show. So enjoy what you can and respect the fact that there was another 30 minutes that you won't be able to listen to.
So if you don't understand what we're on about, sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But most of the time, we don't know what's going on either. So it's fine.
Enjoy.
I don't know when we last cut out, but I'm going to keep talking about
what she was saying. There we go.
I was just talking about how it's quite poetically nice when artists are sort of reappreciated after their death and they're almost reborn in their music. And I think like posthumous releases of albums and records is definitely one of the ways in which that appreciation happens. But I also just think generally like that resurgence of interest.
We're really sorry. I've got 300 messages on my phone just being like, you guys keep cutting out. We're trying not to. I'm doing my best here, man. We are literally on top of the router. And it's just student Wi-Fi. Sorry about that.
It is what it is. I would like to play a posthumous song.
Hit me with it.
So, technically, I didn't know this, but Life After Death, which is Biggie Smalls' second album, was released, I think it was 16 days after he died, so it's technically posthumous, and that's...
But also, that's so fitting. So, Life After Death. Yeah.
And it's got some of, probably his most popular, most commercially popular music is on that album, and I think it's really cool that, and sort of fitting with our modern Renaissance theme, that, he really was reborn, and he almost reached his peak of kind of commercial popularity after he died. So I think we should play probably his most popular song possibly ever.
This is Hypnotised by the Notorious B.I.G. Hello!
That was Hypnotised by
the
Notorious
B.I.G.
B.I.G.
I was thinking the other day, I'm making my way procrastinating through TikTok,
of course,
as I always do, and I was thinking how strange it is that a lot of the younger generation are familiarised with old music purely through social media like TikTok.
Yeah.
And the song that I keep going back to is Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, because it's such a big thing now, and it's their obviously it was always their number one song, but everyone's listening to it now, and it's imagine playing Fleetwood Mac to your kids and be like, this is the TikTok song!
Yeah,
it's not the TikTok song, put some respect on Stevie Nicks' name.
When you have a song that you like, and you, on YouTube, I always find it, especially when people comment who's here from TikTok, and I don't watch TikTok, I kind of decided not to download it because I think will just take up all my time. But it's so annoying when you have a song that's legitimately a good song and one that, I don't know, I don't want to be that person who's I was here before TikTok, or I'm a true fan. But it is frustrating when you have someone like Stevie Nicks, or you have
no, completely true though. Imagine
oh my god, these are the TikTok guys, and it's
now here you go, and it's this is not a background to your 16th in fucking COVID. This is meant to be an amazing song.
It is. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I guess from that point of view though, it gives a platform for old artists to resurge
and to repopularise their content.
Absolutely, and I bet Fleetwood Mac are very happy about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I reckon,
their accountants
wallets are saying, I'm pretty glad that we're considered
TikTok's
that TikTok artist.
But it's also actually a great thing for up-and-coming artists.
Yeah, there are so many songs and artists that have been popularised because of things like TikTok, or
definitely.
And it's given them a platform, I guess. So even if it's something even if the kind of the meaning and the purpose of someone's art has been diluted because it's used in a TikTok trend, if they're looking to kind of sustain their lives through their artwork, I can't really tell them
no,
you should.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and I guess,
and also it's the connections that you make with you know, the content. So you're allowed to have a connection to it because you made a TikTok that makes you happy. Yeah. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, who are we to discredit people's Absolutely. Enjoyment?
And people feel connected, especially with music. Like, people have such different memories and experiences, and someone's relationship with an artist or with a song or with, you know, a genre is so subjective, and it's really not something that anyone can take from them. So if you know, if they found an artist through TikTok, yes, it's annoying as hell, but I think we can't.
Also, they can call it out and lie about it and be like, actually, I found this on my mum's vinyl. If they want to,
exactly.
You know, one of them ones.
And yeah, if TikTok gives them kind of a doorway into a different kind of music, then good for them.
And I think actually that this idea of modern renaissance and things being reborn is actually more relevant than ever in 2020.
Oh, because there's no content being made. I think, especially, I mean, obviously music has been a little bit more fluid and it's been a bit easier, but if we look at the film industry and TV and even like soap operas,
they were playing old episodes because they've just got nothing to
I think
provide the public with otherwise.
One of the most kind of critical moments of lockdown was when they ran out of like EastEnders episodes because they couldn't film anymore, and I just think that's insane.
Yeah,
like,
imagine being like one of those people who's literally grown up every single night watching EastEnders,
and
all of a sudden,
I mean, there are people whose whole lifetimes have watched soap operas, and they got to a point in the summer where there was no new content.
Can you guys message in on at Room 13 Radio and let us know what soap operas, or if you do watch any soap operas or reality TV, because Joanna's obsessed, so I'd like to know.
Obsessed.
Out of curiosity, I'd want to know if anyone's going to write in and say Hollyoaks.
I know.
Something.
Do people still watch that? Not in our age category.
I think Anna. I think one of my friends from home actually really liked Hollyoaks.
I admit that I used to watch Hollyoaks when I was when I was in school.
Incy.
Because I'd watch it in my, you know, some of my friends would watch it and it was a nice thing to talk about. But at university, who has time to keep up with like EastEnders? I don't know. It feels like it's just massively.
You say that. All your time is going into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, okay, fine. But in Real Housewives' defence, it is such a good.
But even that's revisiting old streaming sites. Sorry, just completely didn't think of that.
Yeah.
New content might not be being made, but people get excited when their old favourite shows are being put on like Netflix and stuff. It's a big deal.
True.
Vampire Diaries got taken off and people having breakdowns on TikTok.
And people still cry over like Friends. Like when Friends gets added on something or taken off something, it's such a big deal. And it's like this isn't new content. These aren't new up and coming actors. These aren't new writers or people who are probably even working in the industry now.
Yeah.
It's just reusing the same old stuff.
The best example I can think of this by a mile.
Yeah.
Harry Potter over lockdown. Everyone was obsessed with it. I mean, probably biased because I was on like Draco Malfoy TikTok and liking all of it, so the algorithm was tailoring it to me. But honestly, all anyone was ever talking about was Harry Potter and rewatching the Harry Potter films.
It did feel like it was a bit of a lockdown thing, wasn't it?
I felt like I was reliving my childhood though, which is the exact, this is what we're talking about, modern renaissance.
Yeah.
Going back to a film series that I grew up watching, and everyone grew up watching, I mean, can people say on Room 13 whether they actually, Room 13 Radio on Instagram, whether they actually watched the Harry Potter films over lockdown, because I genuinely think most of my mates did. Did you not?
I didn't.
You didn't watch any of them?
No.
What about Twilight?
No.
You're ruining my point here. So how about you just repeat that and say yes?
A lot of reality TV, which again wasn't new content because nothing was being filmed, but it was new to me, which I guess is...
Yeah. It did feel like a fever dream watching like Kardashian clips come out during Corona, and it was just like them recording on their mobiles.
Yeah.
That was a guilty pleasure of mine, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, period dramas, that's another thing. Like, just living in the past. Game of Thrones, everyone loved that.
And also, I think it's always, period dramas are almost always based on source materials. They're almost always based on novels. And so you just get, so for example, the perfect example of this is the film Rebecca that was just released on Netflix, and Rebecca is such a good example actually of this whole modern Renaissance thing, because this is, I think, the second time Rebecca has been made as a film. So it's a remake of the first film. The first film is a adaptation of the novel Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and the novel Rebecca is a modern adaptation of Jane Eyre. So really,
no originality, just the most diluted story ever.
So your 2020
Chinese whispers with
your 2020 Rebecca with what's his name? Lily James and what's his name? The guy from Call Me by Your Name.
Cheating scandal, no?
Yes, that's
sorry.
the.
Sorry, that was my only contribution because I don't know what Rebecca is.
But that's exactly what it is, and it's.
But it's the same thing. Enola Holmes, yeah.
Yeah.
Throwing Millie Bobby Brown into Sherlock Holmes, why not?
It's just the constant use of just these universes and just kind of remaking. They love it, and last year really felt like it was this kind of, we just got bombarded with like live adaptations of every Disney film that you could possibly think of.
Yeah. But you know what? Hang on that note. Sorry, swearing. Lion King remake broke my heart. It was like my favourite film when I just watched it. I was like, really cool CGI, but also not that impressed.
There were so many of them last year, and
Mulan, loads. But actually, speaking of Millie Bobby Brown, I mentioned her for 2 seconds and it got me thinking, Stranger Things, whole generation of kids that are like, oh yeah, 80s music, singing Never Ending Story. No, Dustin didn't invent that. It was Never Ending Story, the film, that was the original. And it's the idea of like that resurgence of interest in a completely new generation with a completely different meaning behind all the songs and content and culture of like 80s that it's set in.
There was definitely a period, sort of maybe 2 years ago, where I felt like everything was a reference to the 80s. I think it kind of, Stranger Things definitely pushed it along. I think films like It coming out, helped that runaway train really run away from us.
I really enjoyed it though.
They were great. Stranger Things was great. It was great, don't get me wrong. But I mean, it's, Stranger Things fine, original. It obviously it's a remake of another TV series and book, and we could go on forever. But it was interesting to see in, 2017, 2018. We're in a new millennium, we're in, it's been a long time, and yet we seem to be just reliving the 80s. The music was so influential, the culture, kind of everything was so influential, and even fashion. Like I was seeing like really like stereotypical kind of
80s big hair and all that. Well, it's like 70s now, and everyone's literally doing like the same like blowout like hairstyles and flared jeans, and everyone's loving it.
I mean, I'm guilty of.
Oh, so am I, massively. But Joanna.
Yeah.
I think it's time to introduce
our segment.
Because we've got a segment. Sorry, huge, just excitement there, genuine excitement. The fact that we've got a segment, and I would like to introduce it if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So, Cup of Tea is a new segment that we're bringing in for season 3, and hopefully onwards, where we use a random human generator to select someone to come over for tea, and then I'll pick someone random for Joe, and Joe will pick someone random for me, and then at the end of it we have to decide whether or not they are in fact our cup of tea.
I think it's a cool concept. I don't know.
Thanks.
I mean, we came up with it, so obviously we're going to back it, but I do think season 3 is, despite
the technical difficulty,
season 3 is looking to move up in the world, so you'll have to bear with us this week, but in the future we're looking for some bigger and brighter things, and we are very excited for our new segment, and we'll kind of be introducing possibly some more new segments over the next couple of weeks, just to give us some stable things to come back to every week. But this week, Cup of Tea, who is coming to our house?
Joanna Emiko, right. The doorbell has just gone. Wait.
Ooh,
there is someone in the door!
There's someone at the door!
Someone's knocking at the door.
Who could it possibly be?
Joanna Emiko, right.
Yeah.
You open the door and you see...
I'm excited.
Nicole Kidman!
Okay. Firstly, I will tell her that contrary to everyone's popular opinion, I loved those Batman films that she did. So in the 90s, there were these 2 Batman films, and I think it's Rob something, or... Oh no, it was Joel Schumacher. I think he directed them maybe, and they're known to be the worst Batman films ever made, ever. And they are pretty shocking. But Nicole Kidman plays this really cool doctor, and you know, of course she's a doctor, and you know, she's basically only a doctor because she wears a lab coat and glasses once, and other than that she just kind of like prances around in this black bodycon dress. But I loved it. I thought she was cracking. She looks great.
So Nicole, you look beautiful.
I would say to her, Nicole, you're gorgeous. You're fantastic.
You're letting her in, like, for this cup of tea. You're like, she's at the door and you're letting her in.
Yeah, she's an icon. I think she's a very talented woman.
Okay.
I think she's gorgeous. And also just out of, you know, pure solidarity with 7-year-old Joe who loved those films, I would be letting Nicole in for a cup of tea. I would go so far to say, actually, that Nicole Kidman is my cup of tea.
No way! Wait. Amazing. I honestly, I feel like a kid using these sound effects and trying to get them to work. They will, with time.
For Nicole Kidman, I'm a fan. She can come.
Okay. I'm ready for my go, although I'm actually quite scared. I don't know what's going to happen, who's going to be at the door.
Okay. What's that?
The doorbell!
Maria rushes to the door. The door opens and in walks...
Katy Perry! Oh my god! Hi! You kissed a gun, you liked it! Hell yeah!
Queen.
Well, okay, Cherry Chapstick, first of all, good choice.
Yeah.
Actually, that wasn't her, that was a girl. But anyway, I welcome her in. I feel quite bad for Katy Perry, actually, because I saw recently, what's that song she did, Bon Appetit? She was meant to do it on SNL with Migos.
Yeah.
And when they found out that drag queens were performing, they were like, now not doing it. So she had to perform by herself on this, like, and everyone was like complaining about how scattered it was. So I'd like kind of like be like, do you want to have a cry about it?
Honestly,
I think that's all I would be able to think about.
To Katy Perry's scatterbrainedness because of
this show.
We
are really sorry about that. I mean, hopefully now everything's working.
I think we're swinging into it.
But you know.
But no, Katy Perry, your cup of tea?
Katy Perry, I feel you on your pain because my radio show was our radio show also didn't go well. So do you know what? Hell yeah, why not? You're my cup of tea.
I
You like Katy Perry?
Okay, I don't really like her music, other than obviously when I was, 11, I thought E.T., especially Kanye's verse, was like the hardest thing ever. But other than that, I'm not a huge Katy Perry fan of her music, but I do have a lot of respect for her. I think she is a woman who has dealt with a lot, and
she's with Orlando Bloom now, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've all seen those photos. I say that looking to you if you've seen those photos. Have you not seen the photos?
What photos?
Oh,
Is he cheating on her?
No.
Oh, it's his penis?
Yeah.
I've seen his penis. Yeah.
What about it?
No, yeah. When he was like on
they
holiday.
Were on a panel.
Yes. But, sorry, interval. Just talk about Orlando Bloom's penis. Sorry about that.
But no, I like her.
I'd want to know though, Katy Perry. Where were you standing where this plastic bag drifted in the wind and you thought, hell yeah, I relate? Like, as much as I understand where she's coming from, but like, it must have been a dark day for her to see some like Tesco's bag drifting and being like, same. Like a plastic bag, bro.
My last thing to say about Katy Perry is,
what is it?
When she released the music video for Hot and Cold, I thought her green eyeshadow and her straightened hair was popping. I thought she was the coolest, and I've never seen, like, nobody has ever slayed that hard. Like, I thought she was so cool.
Genuinely think that is a great song. So I think actually I really would like to play Hot and Cold, my favourite by Katy Perry. So yeah, without further ado, this is a Hot and Cold by Katy Perry.
Yeah, you can come in for a cup of tea, but please don't sing.
I was thinking though, CDs. Whilst this was going, I was like, bowling alleys festival is what I thought.
Classic.
Because that was the thing, like music videos and the bowling alleys.
Yeah.
But do you know what the biggest thing of our childhood is? Such like, what do you call it when it's like a hidden memory? What do you call that? That thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that's what I call music. Those CDs.
I loved those. I remember because I have my older sister's now 25. And when I was very little, she would have all of them, and we'd sit around listening to like Atomic Kitten and like the Sugar Babes. Oh, and that was like early Now days. That must have been in the Now 20s. And then I think when I was at school, it must have been the Now 30s, 40s, 50s. And I must have jumped off the Now train somewhere around there.
So I just checked, and this one was actually on Now That's What I Call Music 29.
29!
Guys, do you want to...
Oh
actually,
does
anyone want to guess? Because loads of you guys have been in contact. What Now That's What I Call Music number we're on now? Like, they've not stopped making them, by the way.
So if Hot and Cold by Katy Perry
was 29.
29, what now do you think we're
on currently?
Send us in your guesses, and the closest one will win a prize. Don't Google it.
Don't Google it. If you Google it, I'll be sad. We'll both be sad.
And we will think of a prize, and there will be a prize because we do not lie.
Ever. We don't ever lie. But I don't know. Hang on. Have we got any guesses at the moment?
We have one which is now 109.
Cheat. It's 106, but cheat.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What did you think it was?
I just guessed.
What did you think it was?
109.
What the hell?
That was my guess.
What? So you lied? We didn't have no guess.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Well, we're on 106.
Oh, I'm so gassed. I get the prize.
You get the prize. What is the
What
prize?
is the
Who
prize?
knows? Prawn crackers.
Oh, that's like so exciting though. But seriously, 106 is crazy.
No, they've been going on forever. And I was saying to Joe whilst the song was running, and everyone feel free to fight me in the comments, but I think our childhoods, the early 2000s, were so influential without us knowing. Like,
yeah, I mean,
in terms of like pop culture and stuff
Yeah.
like that, we've lived through huge developments. I mean, social media and this,
yeah.
and streaming sites. I mean, oh my gosh, Blockbuster! Completely forgot that was a thing.
Do you remember also Love Film?
Love Film.
Yeah.
They sent you CDs,
That was
DVDs
I
in the
think that was
post.
No,
That was
or
Netflix.
it
I
was
think it was
bought
before,
by
wasn't it?
Amazon Prime, maybe.
I think it might have been Netflix.
It was one of them, and I remember I used to send in my little list and get my little DVD, and yeah, I mean, it's completely redundant now. That whole DVD exchange thing just doesn't really exist anymore, does it?
Loads of people actually came in with guesses. Someone said 107, which was close. And someone said 70. No, 63.
70.
No. Well, that was a pathetic guess.
One of our lovely listeners said, here's a throwback. Used to buy those, now that's what I call them, CDs, upload them to iTunes on my laptop so I could listen to them on my phone. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was a thing though in iPods
That
when
was a
they
thing.
were like tiny little iPod Nanos that you
And
could
you
like
had to
sneak in everywhere.
stream in all of your like CDs, and you had to burn them onto.
Sorry, I was a day one hacker. My brother showed me how to
LimeWire was my
LimeWire.
LimeWire.
What was it? YouTube to MP3 converter. And then my dad was like, "Why is the laptop not working?"
I remember once being in probably year 7 or year 8, and this was in the days where I had like an iPod Classic, which was huge. I think it was at the time, I mean, it was a huge device. It was probably like 64 gig or something, which is massive for a purely music device. And I had thousands and thousands of songs, and we had somebody come into school to talk about cybercrime and talk about
Did you
fact
get
that
honestly, I understand how
so
much were you
stressed, because I was so worried that like I had, let's say I had 5,000 songs on my iTunes, and each song cost about 99p, and I was sitting there being 13 years old counting my pennies thinking, I can't afford it if this goes under. Like I can't afford to buy this music. What am I going to do? I remember thinking about it a lot, Googling it a lot, you know. I'm very...
Oh my god, the adverts that people used to play at the beginning of Blockbuster and Love Film
those...
things was like, it's a crime. You would.
Car.
That's the one.
Those scared me when I was young.
I remember, I'm pretty sure I cried to my dad after we watched one of those.
Because they are scary. And
my brother's going to prison.
I genuinely would... That's definitely poor sibling influence, isn't it?
Yeah. Our listeners are currently writing in all saying, we agree, we've had the same experiences. Everyone's
I'm so glad.
The same opinion. I'm glad that we're not crazy.
That we're not completely alone. And I also would like to point out that I only source legal music now.
We are playing music legally. Our fraudulent days are over.
Yeah, I am no criminal. You have nothing on me at the Fed, so leave me alone.
What was if people write in with what their favourite iPod was?
Because iPod Classic.
I liked the square one with the screen. What was that? iPod Pro.
Tiny little, the touch screen.
iPod Nano. iPod Nano.
That was very
It wasn't touchscreen. Touchscreen. Like, it still had the swivelly thing. But it had a screen. I think it was the first one that had a screen, like a yeah. I like the slender ones.
Yeah,
I like the slender ones.
And my sister bought loads of little, like they were called socks for them, and they were like multicolored socks.
Yes, and Apple
cute.
did them. They were.
Yeah,
My brother got a pack of like 10, and it was like pink, blue, green. Yeah,
we used to have those. They were great. But no, iPod Classic all the way. I probably cried the day my iPod Classic died because, I mean, it was just a strong device. It held all my music. It held all of my rubbish films that I would sit and watch on this tiny, like 1x1 inch screen. But it was great, and it is genuinely sad that kind of era of technology has died.
But it also shows how far we've come. We're currently holding phones that can store literally any song we want. Like I've got, I think, like 30,000 songs on my Spotify. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. I'm looking at the time.
I'm worried that we're going to get cut off again. But thank you so much to everyone who's listening and is actually better with us. We are very sorry.
One of the most hectic
shows that
we've ever done, and one of the most kind of...
But now, next week we'll be back. And next week we're going to be discussing the idea of a guilty conscience. That is title of next week's episode.
Which I think is a very intriguing title.
Yeah.
And one which should definitely bring you back to tune in at 4:30 next Tuesday, because hopefully by then we'll have sorted our tech issues and we'll have a little temporary recording studio set up in our
living room,
router. But as usual, it's been real, guys.
It's been real.
It's been jazzy.
Right. Well, I'm gonna play you guys some soothing music on our way out. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and again, thank you very much for listening. This song's really heartfelt to me. This is WAP by Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. Thank you for having us.